Hello everybody, this is another Hot Wheels collector video, and today I've got another 2024 Hot Wheels 5-pack for you guys. This is the Hot Wheels Drift 5-pack, and there are some really great models in this 5-pack. Two in particular make this 5-pack for me worth the purchase. They are just super awesome looking. I cannot wait to show you guys the models which do feature in this 5-pack. But before we go any further, I would like to mention where I found this 5-pack here in the UK. I found this 5-pack at my local Smith's Toy Superstore, and this 5-pack cost me only £6.49. What a steal. It was meant to be £7.99, but all the 5-packs in that store were on discount. I couldn't believe how cheap this 5-pack was, especially since it is a brand new 5-pack. I could not have been happier with that price. So let's not waste any more time, and let's jump straight into this. So first of all, let's take a look at this 5-pack's box art. Alright, so kicking off this showcase then, we'll first of all take a look at the box art, and first of all, here is a quick look at all of the cars in this 5-pack. We will be taking a more in-depth look at all of those cars in just a little bit, so do stay tuned for that. But onto the bottom of the front of this box then, we've got the Hot Wheels Drift writing in white with a pink background to it. I really like that colour scheme there. And we've also got the nice Hot Wheels Drift logo there as well, with a lovely tuner car drifting. Very good logo for this 5-pack, it definitely does fit with the theme. And finally, at the bottom of the box, you can see the standard blue returning, which does feature on all 5-packs, so nothing new there. Onto the next side, you can see the standard blue does continue here, and just below that we've got the Hot Wheels Drift writing in white with a pink background to it, once again just like the front. And we've also got the tuner car drifting here as well returning, which is the Hot Wheels Drift logo. Looks really good. I'm a big fan of that logo. And then we've got the standard blue returning here as well. On to the rear, we've got the Hot Wheels Drift writing in white with a pink background to it returning, as well as the Hot Wheels Drift logo returning there as well. And just below that, we've got a lovely image of the Nissan Silvia S15 drifting. That is a fantastic image. Wow, I really do love that. Looks so great. I'm so impressed with that image. Wow. I kind of want to cut that out and just keep it. It's that good. Honestly, it looks so great in my opinion. Wow. And then just below that, we've got all of the cars written here in white, which do feature in this 5-pack, and all of that writing does have a pink background to it. In this 5-pack, we've got the 2013 Ford Mustang GT, the 2017 Camaro ZL1, the Bulletproof, the custom 2018 Ford Mustang GT, and the Nissan Silvia S15, which I can see being the most popular car in this 5-pack if I'm totally honest. It's a really awesome model. And here is the usual writing which does feature on all 5-packs. Nothing really new here. I'm not going to waste your time reading all of this, but of course you can read it for yourself if you are interested. And here is the bottom of the box art. As you can see, there is a barcode here. You could ask a worker at your local store to scan this for you, and they can check if they've got any of these 5-packs in stock. It's definitely worth doing this if you are looking for this 5-pack. And onto the final side then. Here you can see the standard blue returning here, and just below that we've got the Nissan Silvia S15 image returning here as well. Great image, as I previously stated. I really do like that. And then finally, at the bottom we've got the standard blue returning here. But that is really it for the box art here. So now let's move on to my showcase of all of these cars, and we're going to be taking a look at these cars in a lot more detail. So let's jump straight into it. So the first car in this 5-pack is the Nissan Silvia S15, and this thing is a really nice model. Look at this thing. This thing has been painted in metallic purple, and this thing is rolling on the 5-spoke Japanese style wheels, which have been painted in chrome bronze. This thing also does receive side tamper work, as you can see here. We've got the Hot Wheels logo in white, and just above that we've got 2 white stars. We've also got this kind of scratch mark design along the side of this thing as well. A lot of these scratch marks have been done in blue with a green and black outline to them. We've also got some white scratch marks as well, which do have this kind of hashed out look to them. Those look really cool. We've also got the Team Nightmare writing here in white tampered onto the side skirt of this thing too. And that's it for the tamper works. Now onto the metal casting and plastic usage. First of all, you can see this car's fuel filler cap, as well as the door handle, and also you can see this car's side marker or turn signal lights. These are all in the metal casting. You can also see this car does have wing mirrors in the metal casting too. I would also like to mention that this car's side windows are completely wound up. As you can see, this car does receive blue window tinting to its window plastic, and I would also like to mention that this car does have white interior plastic to it. But that's it for the side, so onto the front. As you can see, unfortunately there is no tamper work here, but there's still plenty of details. So first of all, you can see this car's headlights in the metal casting. You can also see this car's upper vents in the metal casting too. I would also like to mention that this car does have 4 lower vents, as you can see there. All of those are holes or shutoffs in the metal casting and lead through to the chrome base plastic of this thing. I would also like to mention that we do have a nice intercooler modelled into that chrome plastic as well, as you can see there. And finally, I would like to mention that this car's front splitter has been created by the metal casting itself. And that's it for the front, so on to the next side. As you can see, this side is the exact same as the previous, other than there is no fuel filler cap here, so I'm not going to bore you here. So on to the rear. As you can see, there is no tamper work here either, but there's still plenty of details, just like the front. As you can see, we've got the rear lights in the metal casting here. We've also got this car's spoiler in the metal casting too, and also the rear license plate holder. And finally, I would like to mention that this car's single exit exhaust, which does have a big bore design to it, has been created by the chrome base plastic, as you can see there. But that's it for the rear, so on to the top. As you can see, there is the spoiler from a top view in the metal casting. You can also see the white interior plastic here as well. This car does have windshield wipers, which have been moulded into the window plastic of this car. Really awesome detailing there. You can also see this car's window washer fluid squirters here in the metal casting too. And finally, I would like to mention that you can see the returning scratch marks on the hood of this thing, which have been tampered in a mixture of blue, green and black, just like the side. But that's it for this model. What a great way to start off this 5-pack. On to the next car. And the second car in this 5-pack is this, the 17 Camaro ZL1. This thing has been painted in metallic blue, which does look very nice, and this thing is rolling on the 5-spoke wheels, which have been done in black with a chrome lip to them. This thing also does receive side tamper work, as you can see here. We've got some nice white striping, we've also got the white Hot Wheels logo here, we've also got a nice black stripe, which does have a white outline to it, and we've also got the white writing Team Nightmare in this black stripe. I would also like to mention that this thing does have a lot of orange striping to it as well. A lot of this striping does have a white outline to it. The only orange stripe which doesn't have a white outline to it is this one, which I'm pointing at right now. But yeah, that's it for the side tamper work. So now on to the metal casting and plastic usage. So first of all, I would like to mention that this car's fuel filler cap does feature here, as well as door handle. Both of those are in the metal casting. I would also like to mention that this car's side skirt has been created by the dark grey base plastic of this thing. And I would also like to mention that unfortunately this car does not have any wing mirrors. Next up, I would like to mention that this car's side window is completely wound down, and this thing does receive a lot of orange window tint to its window plastic. That is a lot of window tint. Wow, you can barely see through the front window. That is loads of window tint. And this thing does receive dark grey interior plastic to it as well. But that's it for the side, so onto the front. As you can see here, we've got no tamper work, but there's still plenty of details in the metal casting and plastic usage. So first of all, you can see this car's headlights in the metal casting, as well as the main front grille. You can also see this car's main lower vents here in the metal casting too. That is a hole or shut off and does lead through to the dark grey base plastic of this thing. I would also like to mention that we've got a couple more smaller vents in the metal casting too. And finally, I would like to mention that this car's front splitter has been created through the dark grey base plastic of this thing as well. And that's it for the front, so on to the next side. As you can see, this side's pretty much the exact same as the previous. The only difference is there is no fuel filler cap on this side. So on to the rear. As you can see, there is no sample work here, just like the front, unfortunately, but there's still plenty of details. So first of all, you can see this car's rear lights in the metal casting. There are two main ones and one smaller one in the middle. As you can see, that is the third brake light just underneath the spoiler of this car. You can also see this car's rear license plate holder in the metal casting too. And finally, I would like to mention that this car's spoiler does feature in the metal casting too. And onto the plastic usage here. As you can see, the entirety of the lower rear bumper of this car has been created by the dark grey base plastic of this thing. And in that, we've got quad exhaust tips modelled very nicely there. But that's it for the rear, so onto the top. As you can see, we've got the rear spoiler of this car featuring in the metal casting. There it is from a top view. You can also see this car's aerial in the metal casting as well here. Moving forward, I would like to mention that this car does not have any windshield wipers in the window plastic, unfortunately. And finally, I would like to mention that we do have a bulge in the hood of this car in the metal casting, which is accurate to the real life thing. But that's it for this car, another really solid one from this 5-pack. Onto the third car. And the third car in this 5-pack is this, the Bulletproof. This thing has been created by turquoise plastic. Yes, this thing does have a plastic body to it and a metal base to it. As you can see, this metal base has been painted in metallic black. This car is also rolling on the fan 5-spoke wheels, which have been painted in white. This car also does receive side tamper work, as you can see here. We've got loads of little shooting stars. The stars themselves have been tampered on here in white, whilst the trails have been done in a mixture of pink, purple and white. You can also see the Hot Wheels logo here and the Drift logo here. Both of those have been tampered in white. But that's it for the side of this thing in terms of tamper work. So now let's move on to the plastic usage. So first of all, you can see there are 3 vents on the side of this thing. I believe there's meant to be one here, even though it's quite hard to see. There's one here and there's also one there. I would also like to mention that you can see this car's side exhaust in this plastic as well, and I would also like to mention that we've got a couple of guns here as well. The reason why this car has guns on it is because it is called the Bulletproof. That's a really cool play on words there. This car also does not have any side mirrors, as you can see there. This car's side windows are completely wound up, and this thing does receive pink tinting to its window plastic. And I would also like to mention that this car does have grey interior plastic to it. But that's it for this side. Onto the front. As you can see here, there's no tamper work, but there's still plenty of details. So first of all, you can see there are 4 guns here on the front. You can also see this car's main front grille here in the plastic here too. And I would also like to mention that the lower portion of this car's front bumper has been created by the black metal base of this thing. And in that, we've got a few vents detailed there very nicely. But that's it for the front, so onto the next side. As you can see here, this side is the exact same as the previous, so I'm not going to bore you there. So onto the rear. As you can see here, we've got loads of guns in the plastic body of this thing. We've got 2 here, 2 here, and also 4 up top. Loads of guns. You can also see there are some nice vents here. We've got one here. We've also got one on the other side, and I believe that there's meant to be some in the center as well. Yeah, loads of vents on here as well. I would also like to mention that this car's rear diffuser has been created by the black metal base of this thing, as you can see there. And that's it for the rear of this thing, because there is no tamper work here. So on to the top of this thing. As you can see, there are the 4 guns which do feature on the rear of this thing. You can see them from a top view. You can also see there are some missiles in the rear of this thing as well, created by the grey interior plastic of this car. That is a really neat little detail there. Moving forward, I would like to mention that this car does not have any windshield wipers, and I would also like to mention that there are 3 hood vents on this thing as well. But that's it for this model. It's not really for me, I don't really love it, but it is still a pretty unique one, I will give it that. And the 4th car in this 5-pack is this, the 2013 Ford Mustang GT. This thing has been painted in metallic green, and this thing is rolling on the 5-spoke muscle style wheels, which have been painted in yellow. This thing also does receive side tamper work to it, as you can see here. We've got a white Hot Wheels logo. We've also got loads of little black dots. You can also see we've got loads of little stars along the side of this thing as well. Those stars have been done in a mixture of black, white and yellow. You can also see we've got loads of little speech bubbles as well along the side of this thing. These speech bubbles all have a black and white outline to them, and the text in them has been done in black. So this first speech bubble does have the text bang in it and has been done in orange. The next speech bubble has been done in yellow and reads pow. This next speech bubble has the writing crash in it and has been done in orange as well. And this final speech bubble has been done in yellow, and this has no text in it at all. That's it for the side tamper work on this thing, so now onto the metal casting and plastic usage. So first of all, we've got a couple of vents here in the metal casting. One of them is quite hard to see because it is covered by tamper work, but it still is there, so don't worry about that. You just can't see it on this specific model. I would also like to mention that this car's side exit exhaust has been created by the chrome interior plastic of this car. I would also like to mention that this car does not have any side mirrors on it. This thing's side windows are completely wound up. You can also see this thing does have a chrome interior plastic to it, and this thing has no window tint whatsoever to its window plastic. I would also like to mention that you can see there are some nice bolts which have been modelled into the side window of this car as well. Very nicely there indeed. But that's it for the side of this thing. So onto the front. As you can see, we've got no tamper work here, but there's still plenty of details. So first of all, you can see this car's headlights in the metal casting. You can also see this car's main front grille in the metal casting too. And in that, we've got two fog lights, and we've also got the Ford Mustang badge there as well. And I would also like to mention that we've got some lower vents in the metal casting too. We've got two smaller ones here on either side, and we've also got one larger centre one as well. And finally, I would like to mention that this car's front splitter has been created by the grey base plastic of this thing as well. That's it for the front, so onto the next side. As you can see here, there is no differences between this side and the previous side, so I'm not going to bore you here, so straight onto the rear we go. As you can see, there's no tamper work here unfortunately, but there's still plenty of details here, so let's go over those. First of all, you can see this car's rear lights in the metal casting. There are three of them, so we've got the two main rear lights, and we've also got a third brake light in the middle of this car as well, just underneath the spoiler. You can also see the Ford Mustang badge here in the metal casting too, and I would also like to mention that this car has a giant drag type spoiler on the rear of this thing as well, in the metal casting there. I would also like to mention that you can see this thing does have a parachute which has been created by the chrome interior plastic of this car, and I would also like to mention that the entirety of the lower rear bumper of this car has been created by the grey base plastic of this thing, and in that we've got a nice little wheelie bar there. And that's it for the rear of this thing, so now onto the top of this car. There is the drag type spoiler in the metal casting from a top view. You can also see this thing does have a roll cage inside of it, created by the chrome interior plastic. I'm adding this in during editing, but I would like to mention that this car does have a sunroof. As you can see, this has been created by the completely see-through window plastic. And you can also see this thing has a very stripped out interior to it, making this thing look like a proper dragster. That looks really, really awesome. As you can see, there's only one seat in this thing for the driver. There is no passenger seat. Moving forward, I would like to mention that there are no windshield wipers on this car. You can see there is a nice bulge in the hood of this thing, created by the see-through window plastic of this car, and behind that you can see this car's 8-cylinder engine there, created by the chrome interior plastic of this thing. But that's it for this model. This is pretty solid. I really like the colour on this thing. So let's move on to the final car in this 5-pack. And the final car for this 5-pack is this, the Custom 18 Ford Mustang GT. This thing is absolutely beautiful. It has been painted in a metallic red colour, which I absolutely love, and this thing is rolling on the Phil Reelman wheels, which have been painted in chrome. This thing also does receive side tamper work, as you can see here. We've got some little stars which have been tampered on here in white. You can also see this kind of scratch mark design returns from the previous Nissan Silvia to this thing. And a lot of these scratch marks have been done in white with a grey and black outline to them. We've also got some white ones here returning from the Silvia as well, with the same hashed out look to them that the Silvia had. You can also see we've got the Hot Wheels logo in white here as well, and we've also got the Team Nightmare writing here in white too, with a black outline to it. And that's it for the tamper work on the side of this thing, so now onto the metal casting and plastic usage. First of all, I would like to mention that this car's door handle features in the metal casting here. I would also like to mention that this car's side skirt has been created by the black base plastic of this thing. I would also like to mention that this car does not have any wing mirrors, unfortunately, and this car's side windows are completely wound down. This thing's window plastic also does have slight smoking to it. It does have a slight black tinting to it, and this thing does have completely black interior plastic to it. But that's it for this side. Onto the front we go. As you can see here, there's plenty of details, even though there's no tamper work. So first of all, you can see this car's headlights in the metal casting. You can also see this car's main front grille in the metal casting too, which is a hole I shut off and does lead through to the black interior plastic of this car, I do believe. And I would also like to mention that this car's front splitter has been created by the black base plastic of this thing, and I would like to mention that this front splitter is actually adjustable. As you can see here, you can move it up and you can move it down. It does clip up and down, which is an absolutely great little feature there. I really do love that. So you can kind of have this car looking the way you truly want it to. That is such a cool little feature. But yeah, that's it for the front because there's no tamper work. So on to the next side. This side is the exact same as the previous side, so I'm not going to bore you there. So onto the rear. As you can see, there is plenty of details here, but there's still no tamper work, unfortunately. So first of all, you can see this car's gigantic spoiler in the metal casting here. You can also see this car's rear lights in the metal casting too, as well as the rear license plate holder. And you can also see the lower portion of this car's rear bumper being created by the black base plastic of this thing. And in that, we do have quad exhaust tips, which have been modelled very nicely there. That's it for the rear, so onto the top. As you can see, there is the spoiler from a top view, which does feature in the metal casting. There is the black interior plastic of this thing as well. You can see there is a nice little roof scoop on this thing as well in the metal casting. That looks very good. There are no windshield wipers on this car, as you can see there. And moving onto the hood, you can see there are two hood vents on this thing in the metal casting, as well as two hood pins in the metal casting as well. But that's it for this model. This thing is absolutely beautiful. What a great way to end off this 5-pack. But that is it for my showcase of all of the cars which do feature in this 5-pack, so now it is time for my ranking. So what are my least and most favourite cars from this 5-pack? So my 5th place car for this 5-pack is going to be the Bulletproof. My 4th place car for this 5-pack is going to be the 13 Ford Mustang GT. My 3rd place car for this 5-pack is going to be the 17 Camaro ZL1. My 2nd place car for this 5-pack is going to be the custom 18 Ford Mustang GT. And that does lead me onto my 1st place car. So in 1st place for me is going to be, of course, the Nissan Silvia S15. Overall, this is just a fantastic model. But there you go, that is it for this 5-pack. There are some really nice models in here. I personally love the Nissan Silvia S15 and the custom 18 Ford Mustang GT. Those models are absolutely beautiful. I just love them. I think they are must-haves, and honestly, I just think they're so cool looking. I also quite like the Camaro as well. I'm just not a big fan of that orange window tint it does have. If that thing had black window tint to it, I would like it a lot more. And the other two cars in this 5-pack aren't really for me. I do like the 13 Ford Mustang GT casting, but I'm not a big fan of this release. It's mainly the tamper work for me. I'm just not a big fan of that tamper work at all, and the Bulletproof just isn't really one for me, if I'm totally honest. But that does lead me onto my score out of 10 for this 5-pack. So what am I going to give this 5-pack out of 10? This 5-pack is going to be receiving from me a totally deserved, in my opinion at least, 7.5 out of 10. Overall, it's a really nice 5-pack, and there are some really awesome models in this 5-pack which I believe are must-haves for your collection. But that is really it for this video, so if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Let me know in the comments section down below what you think of this 5-pack, and that's really it for this video. So I hope you guys did enjoy, and I really do hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye everyone, take care.